The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome to today's role play session with your host, James McDonald.
Well, thank you very much, Andrea. I'd like to start by welcoming our participants to our favorite time of the week. It's time for some role play. So I hope all of you are eager to volunteer. Before we get started, a couple little things. First of all, tomorrow is our marketing session, and Craig and guest host Todd Walters, our platinum coach, is going to be taking the ad clinic tomorrow, so you don't want to miss it. There's going to be a lot of new stuff, particularly in regards to listings and procuring new listings that you otherwise wouldn't have gotten. So you'll hear some really good and interesting new strategies that we wouldn't typically discuss on the ad clinic, on the marketing clinic. Now, having said that, you can still upload your ads so that they can take a look at your ads as well and critique them. So I strongly encourage you to do that. Any ads that you're running, regardless of whether they're working well or they aren't working well, send them in. Let's take a look at them and make them even better. But today, of course, is role play. So today we are going to practice the universal callback script, and that's really what today is. It's practicing, and if we can practice and we can hear others as well, then sort of through osmosis, we'll become better and better and better at this. And, you know, some of you don't know this, but we have participants on these role play sessions that have been participating for years and years and years and years. And even though if I were to do a role play with them, they would sound like they're an absolute master, they still continue to come on regularly because you're always sort of honing your skills and you're keeping sharp. You know, I always like to use the analogy of, remember years and years ago, I went and watched a professional golf tournament, and after the tournament, after the round was finished, there was one of the professional golfers was out on the putting practice putting green, hitting 3-foot putts, for what seemed like an hour and a half. Over and over and over and over again. And you'd think, boy, that's pretty basic. Like, you'd probably have that down by now since you're a professional golfer. But you're always refining and practicing and just really making second nature what you do over and over and over and over again. And that's really what we're doing, practicing the universal script. Now, there is one email that I received before we start here this morning to maybe get the juices flowing a little bit, because it's a question that I wanted to save because it did pertain to lead conversion. It pertained to the universal callback script. And what it had to do with was a prospect's objection to receiving your emailed properties when they already had access to search for properties on the website. So in other words, the objection goes like this. You know what? I already have access to all the properties through your website. I guess maybe they're using, Commissions Inc. or they now had ability through your IDX to search properties on your website. So the objection, regardless, was I already have access to all the properties. And I look at them every day, or I look at them regularly. So I'm making this proposal. I'm saying, well, look, if you'd like me to email you every day all the properties that come on the market, including the great deals, it's absolutely free. There's no obligation. Would that be helpful? Answer, well, not really. You know what? I'm already getting that. I've got full access on the website, and I don't mind doing it myself. I'm going on there. I've got alerts set up, and I'm getting those properties. So we got to be able to handle that. And here's the way that you're going to handle it, okay? And this is, I know for a lot of you, you've already got this down, but this is really important that everybody understands this. The benefit between what you're offering and anything that the prospect could possibly be doing right now is the element of a good deal. The properties that you can send them that they cannot find anywhere else, including through your very own website, that's what we need to focus on. We need to use language that really paints that picture. Like I might be able to say to this, hey, Mrs. Smith, I have access to properties that you won't find on the website, or any websites for that matter. Pocket listings, private listings, homes that have not yet hit the market, bank foreclosed properties, distress sale properties, fixer-upper deals, probates. There are properties that are excellent deals, often below market value, that I'm aware of that you may not be. What I'm proposing is if I know exactly what you're looking for, I can make sure that those properties are sitting in your email inbox, as well as the properties from the other real estate companies, the moment they hit the market, so that you definitely don't miss out on them because you were busy that day and didn't have a chance to search on your computer. Are you certain that wouldn't be something of interest to you? Are you certain you wouldn't reconsider getting set up on that? Now remember, haven't said anything about the appointment. Here's my point with this, is that when the prospect brings up the objection that they're already getting access to lots of properties and they're already getting alerts on properties on various websites, including maybe even your own website, what do we say to that? We say, well, wouldn't you like more properties? No, I'm already getting more properties than I'm even looking at. That's not the hot button. The hot button are the deals. That's what needs to be focused on, is the idea that you have access to properties that they won't find elsewhere, or certainly will find difficult to locate elsewhere. What kind of properties? And then you can laundry list all of the special deals that you might be aware of. You know, post-dated listings that have not yet hit the MLS in my office from my colleagues. That's true. I mean, that is true. You go down to the office meeting and you meet with the other realtors in the office, and some of them have listings that are going to be coming on the market in a week or two. That's pretty good. You know, so if we use the right language to paint that picture, the prospect can't say anything other than, yeah, that would be really good. Yes, that would be really helpful. I mean, we can ask the question, are you looking for a really good deal? Like, would you be interested in knowing about those kinds of really good deals? As long as they match exactly what you and your family are looking for, would you be interested in also knowing about those deals? Yes, I would. Well, unfortunately, searching online, you're just getting the properties that are on the MLS, and so you're not accessing those great special deals as well. I'm proposing that I send you those as well as they come on the market. That would be something of interest to you? Yes, it would. When have you got brief 15 minutes to sit down so we can do a really good job of determining what you're looking for so I don't miss out on the perfect property? I'm flexible, days, evenings, weekends. As I said, there's no cost. Don't bring your checkbook. There's no obligation to buy anything. What would be good for you? And you book the appointment. But remember, the prospect isn't going to book the appointment unless they really see the benefit. Because here's the problem. I want to take two. This is a big thought, okay? The prospect wants the information. Because we've done a good job of painting this picture of of how this will look. You wake up in the morning, you look at your iPhone, and you've got 3 new emails. And you open up the emails, and there sits 3 properties that have hit the market or that are available that match exactly what you're looking for. And some of them might be a special deal. And I'm picturing that in my head as the prospect. I'm thinking, yeah, that would be really good. I would really like that. That would be helpful for me. But then I want to go over to the other side, and I want to say, but here's the negative. This realtor wants me to meet with him. He wants me to book an appointment, and he wants me to meet with him. Now, I really want the information, but I also really don't want to meet with a salesperson. So I'm conflicted here. Here's the problem. If the benefit isn't good enough, the fear of the salesperson will trump their desire for the information. In other words, the prospect wants the information, but their fear of the salesperson is more powerful than their desire for the information, unless we can make the information so good and so non-threatening that they want it more than their fear of the salesperson. That's how I want you to compartmentalize this in your head. You got to remember, the prospect might be conflicted. Not all of them, but some of them might be conflicted. This isn't odd. Think of yourself. If the information that we're offering isn't good enough, it's not that they don't want it, they do. If you said, well, would you like it without meeting with you? Would you like this information without meeting with me? 100% of them would say yes, which is proof they want the information. But if their desire for the information isn't strong enough, then their fear of meeting a salesperson trumps their desire for the information, which means we've got to be so damn good at compelling them by the information. We've got to paint this picture that they understand every single day you're going to receive properties that come on the market that match exactly what you and your family are looking for before the other buyers know about them. And we're going to include the hard to find great deals that hit the market that other buyers might not even be aware of, like bank foreclosures, distress sales, private listings, etc. It's absolutely free. You're never obligated to buy anything. Would that be of interest to you? I need to paint a picture that makes the prospect say, that is exactly what I need, and I really, really want that. Then when I say, now when would be a good time for us to sit down for 15 minutes to take down your criteria, I understand the prospect is tepid about that. But their desire for the information is more powerful than their fear of meeting with me, because I've done a really good job of painting that picture and of removing fear of the salesperson. I've done a good job of handling that this is absolutely free and they're never obligated to buy anything. So they're far less reluctant to decline my appointment. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. Sometimes looking at what we're doing here from a big picture and really analyzing, how did Craig even come up with this? I mean, this is not words on a page. This is a lot more than that. This is years and years and years of testing and retesting and trying one approach versus another and really analyzing how our words paint a picture in the minds of the prospect if used correctly. So when you're making these offers, particularly in this example with the buyers, we've got to really understand what you're doing is you're painting a picture. And the picture could be okay, but if the picture's just okay, when it comes to saying, when have you got 15 minutes to meet with me, their fear of the salesperson could very easily be more powerful than their desire for something that is just okay. It can't just be okay. It has to be awesome. If it's awesome, they'll want it more than they fear the salesperson. I hope that makes sense to everybody, and maybe that helps you a little bit when you're articulating the offer here. So, Andrea, having said that, let's take some volunteers or any questions or anything at all to do with the lead conversion and with the universal script.
I'm here as well, James McDonald.
Hey, how you doing there, Mr. Craig Proctor?
So what you're saying is the words that come out of your mouth actually matter?
It's amazing, isn't it? See, I almost went so far as to call the words that you created genius, but I stopped short of that because I thought there's a chance you might be on the call, and I don't want your head getting any bigger.
Well, thank you for that. Yes, all these small details. That's
really
what I hear from agents. I hear that from our members. All these small details, whether it's the ad clinic on Friday, or whether it's the role play or any of our calls. Boy, there's a lot of these small details. Do they really matter that much? Yeah. Not only what you say, how you say it, the tonality matters. The order of everything matters.
Especially over the phone. I want you to think about this. You know, when you're on the phone, the only thing you have are your words. I mean, that's it. There's no body language. There's nothing to show them. The words that come out of your mouth are going into their brain, and they're painting a sort of a mental picture of what you're saying. And either that picture is really, really good and it's something they really, really want, or not. And if you do a really good job, and they've painted a picture that is beneficial to them, they'll want it, and they'll book an appointment with you easily. And that's why you'll hear from members on these role play sessions, and they'll say, oh, I'm booking appointments like crazy. Yeah, because they've mastered that picture. They've painted that picture so well that everybody wants it. And then there are others that are still working towards that. So I don't want you to be discouraged. That's why we're here. So having said that, Miss Andrea, let's get started.
Yes, we already have several members who are requesting to participate in role play, or they have questions. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and type your question or comment in the chat box, or raise your hand if you have a mic or you're on the telephone. We'll go with first Marco Velasquez. Your telephone line is now open.
Hi, guys.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Excellent.
I'd like to role play the buyer script.
All right, so ring, ring, hello.
Hi, is James McDonald there?
Yeah, this is James.
Hi, James. This is Marco with Remax, and the reason I'm calling is because I received your request for information from my Chino Foreclosures website, and I wanted to get that out to you. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay. Now, are you folks planning on making a move in the next 3 to 6 months?
Maybe.
Okay. Do you currently rent or do you own your own home?
No, we rent.
Okay. Are you planning on staying in the area or moving out of the area?
We're looking around. We're just looking right now, so we'll be staying, somewhat nearby, but we're only just looking around right now.
Okay. Now, if you were to move, when do you think that might be?
If we do something, we're hoping, in the next, as you say, in the next 3 to 6 months, that would be a good time frame.
Okay, about 3
It
to 6
depends on a
months.
couple of things. We're working on financing and stuff like that. So, but 3 to 6 months is pretty reasonable.
Okay.
If all goes well.
Okay. Now, do you have a realtor to help you with that when the time is right?
Well, I'm working with a financing company, and they have a recommended realtor. I've never met them, but they were telling us about it, that, I don't know, some kind of discount or something if we use their recommended realtor. So that's all that's as far as it's gotten at this point.
Okay. Now, would you like me to email you daily updates of homes that match your home buying criteria from all real estate companies? Our list includes any bank foreclosures, company-owned properties, and other distress sales. It's free, and you're never obligated to buy. Would that interest you?
Yeah, well, it would. I have. I'm going on to some different websites, and I've set up some alerts that work pretty well on JuliaRealtor.com. There's a couple of others as well. So I'm getting emails, and I'm going onto websites. I see lots and lots of properties. As I said, our challenge is we're working on our financing right now, and we're almost there. But it's sort of a work in progress, so that's sort of where we're at.
Okay, James, what I'm offering is basically exclusive properties, pocket listings, foreclosures, distress sales, properties you're probably not going to find on the websites. How does that sound?
Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, please send them.
Okay. When can we get together for about 15 minutes so I can have a form I fill out? I can take exactly what you're looking for and the criteria that you're looking for. Flexible days and evenings.
Well, I'll tell you, we're pretty much, we're looking at everything in the area, and we're just really shopping on price.
Okay.
So anything, you can just send us. If you just send us everything in the price range that I indicated on your website, that'd be great.
Well, instead of sending you hundreds of properties that, flooding your email with hundreds of properties, I like to get exactly what you're looking for to just, instead of missing out on that perfect property, I'd rather just sit with you, get your criteria, and, get you the right property. When it's available, days or evenings.
Yeah. Okay. Probably evenings would be best then.
Okay. So are you available tomorrow evening?
No.
How about this weekend?
This weekend we're going away, so it'd have to be next week.
How does Monday evening sound?
Monday should be okay.
Monday, 5 o'clock?
Yeah, that should work.
Okay, so let's go ahead and set it up for Monday, 5 o'clock, and I'll look forward to speaking to you regarding your properties.
Great. Okay, so I was pretty tough there, only because it was sort of vague, right? I mean, here's the thing. I totally agree with you in booking the appointment. In other words, you could have chosen to go either way, but I agree with booking the appointment, only because I was clearly progressing through the process of getting financed and all that stuff. So that was a good idea. Here's when you go back and you listen to yourself on this role play. When you handle an objection and then you throw it back to the prospect, you can't just stop talking and just be silent without asking me a question. Like, there needs to be a comfortable, way of now restating the question. So here's what you might want to say. Okay, so you handle the objection, and then you say, would you reconsider a brief appointment at your convenience? Like, all you did was you handled the objection. Well, I have pocket listings and other great deals. and then you just stop talking.
Okay.
And all I'm thinking is, well, good for you. So do you have is there a question there? Like what? Yep. So so it needs to be, I have access to hard to find deals, pocket listings, bank foreclosures, etc. Are you certain you wouldn't reconsider that? Or are you certain you wouldn't be interested in those as well? You've got to put it back to them. Make them answer the question. Keep this flowing pretty nicely. So when you go back and listen, you'll notice that there are a few awkward. So always make sure that once you handle the objection, the way to throw it back is by restating whatever question was you asked. If it's in regards to meeting with them, so you restate it. I like the way that you handled my objection to booking the appointment. I said, you know what, we're just shopping on price. That's exactly what we want to say. First of all, start off with, hey, look, you know what? I really want to do a good job for you. I don't want to miss out on the perfect property or waste your time sending you properties that aren't right. If we can sit down for very briefly, 15 minutes, I'll know as well as you know what you're looking for. We'll do a great job. Don't bring your wallet or checkbook. There is no cost to this. I'm flexible. What's good for you, days, evenings, weekends? They say evenings. You say, what's better, this evening, Friday evening? I say neither one. You say, how about Monday or Tuesday? We can definitely hone that in a little bit more. But here's the problem. When the prospect is playing that game, what it usually means is that it didn't do a great job of compelling them with the offer. Remember, if they really, really want what you're offering, then there is no fight. Right? So that's the litmus test is, how well did I do? I'm going to grade myself. How well did I do in making this offer? Here's how you'll know. If the prospect fights you, not very good. If the prospect doesn't fight you, you know you did an awesome job. And as you get better and better, that's exactly what's going to happen. But that was good, Marco. Thank you for volunteering, and we'll look forward to doing that again.
All right. Thanks a lot, James.
Okay, our next guest with their hand raised is Gregory Herzog. Your line is now open. Gregory?
Hi.
Hey, Greg.
How are you today?
I'm good. How you doing?
Oh, excellent, thank you.
Good, good, good. All right, what would you like to do today?
How about what the home down the street sold for?
Sounds good. All right, so ring, ring. Hello.
Let me be the seller this time, James.
Here we go. Uh-oh, you got a mean one on the line now.
Get the master. All right, I love that.
Okay.
Hi,
Hello.
Hello, is Craig Proctor there, please?
Who's asking?
It's Greg calling from iPro Realty.
Okay, how can I help you?
The reason I'm calling is I just received your request for information on what the home down the street sold for, and I prepared an email for you and sent it out to you, and I just wanted to make sure that was okay.
Yeah, I don't think I received anything from you, and I didn't know this was coming from a real estate agent.
Oh, absolutely. Now, are you folks planning on making a move in the next 3 to 6 months?
Yes.
And do you currently rent or own the home you're in?
Well, we own. That's why we asked for an evaluation.
Excellent. If you were to move, would you be staying in the area or moving out of the area?
In the area.
Okay. And when do you think that might be?
What's with all these questions?
Well, we just want to do a proper job for you, and we want to, make sure that the email that we send out to you has all the correct information for you.
Okay. Well, yeah, we would stay in the area, and I guess, we wouldn't do anything until we find something else.
Excellent. Do you have a realtor to help you when the time is right?
Well, there was the guy that sold us his place. He's been in touch, and then my wife works with a lady. Her husband's a realtor, and we promised her we would talk to her husband. Okay.
So are you committed to interviewing other realtors?
No, in fact, I might even try to sell it myself because the market's pretty good right now, and you guys charge a lot of money. I don't think it's that difficult to sell it, to be honest.
Well, there can be some difficulties in dealing with that with yourself.
Okay, is that in the script?
No.
Don't get sucked in. I'm trying to suck you in, man.
Well, would you prefer to
the vortex?
Right. I'm trying to aggravate you. Is it working?
A little bit.
Right. So stick with the script because that's their job. That's the prospect's job, right? Just okay. So that wasn't an objection. When I said I think it's going to be easy, like the market's good, I can sell my own home.
Yes.
That was an observation on my part. That was not an objection. Right. Don't get pulled off the script because if you get into a debate as to, well, I'm wrong for thinking that and you're right, even if you win the battle, you're going to lose the war.
Right.
Okay? So I'm saying things on purpose here. Now, how many of you listening to this conversation between Greg and I are thinking, yeah, I've heard this before from them? Like, I'm trying to be real. I'm giving you guys things that I would hear on a regular basis.
Yep.
And I'm not, I'm not rude, but I'm definitely not a friendly guy, right? But that doesn't make me a bad prospect. And you see, James, remember when you started, that's something that you had to learn, is what James thought is if someone was friendly, that means they're motivated. And if they're if they're not friendly, that means they're not.
Right. It means that if they're a high D-type personality, my mistake is believing that, well, obviously they're not interested because they're very, to the point, very frank, when meanwhile, oftentimes the high Ds are the best prospects because they'll tell you exactly what their deal is. They're not afraid. It's pretty interesting. Yeah. Don't confuse their, tonality with motivation. There is
in fact, maybe on the next role play, I'll be a super friendly person that has no motivation at all.
Right.
Just want to talk to you. Got nothing else going on today. Glad you called. I'm kind of lonely. I like talking to people. But I have absolutely no plans on moving. Okay, so let's keep going down the script here.
Well, Craig, would you prefer to buy before listing your home, or would you want to sell?
Well, yeah, that's what I just said to you. Is we wouldn't do anything until we found a place. Okay.
So would you like me to send you daily updates of homes that match your home buying criteria?
Well, we're already getting that from. Remember, I said that my wife has a friend. Her husband's a real estate agent. So
right.
he's already sending that.
Absolutely. Well, I'm not sure what you're being sent by other people, but
he says he's sending us all the houses.
Well, that may be true what he has available to him, but what's unique about my list is it would include bank foreclosures, company-owned properties, and other distress sales.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If you want to send those along as well, that'd be great.
Excellent. When's a good time that we could get together for about 20 minutes so I can take down exactly...
Okay, stop. Okay, you just articulated the commitment before the benefit.
I did.
Right. You didn't. You said, when can we get together so I can... Cat's out of the bag now. The answer is never. I am resistant to whatever you're about to say now because I know that it includes you and I getting together, which... you're going to have a much better chance of me saying yes to that if you start with the benefit. You got to lead with the benefit, not the commitment.
Right.
All right. So let's do it over again the correct way. Let's do that offer.
All right. Would you like me to email you daily updates of homes that match your home buying criteria from all real estate companies?
And I said I think I'm already getting that, aren't I? Like I told you, the other guy.
Absolutely. And I'm not sure what you're getting from other people, but what I can give you is, and what's unique about us, is that our list would include bank foreclosures, company-owned properties, and distress sales. It's a free service, and of course, you're never obligated to buy anything from us.
Yeah, please, send that to me.
Okay. So when could we get together for about 20 minutes so that I could take down exactly what you're looking for?
Well, could you just send it to me? Like, why do we need to meet?
Well, I want to do a great job for you. And rather than sending you hundreds of emails of homes that may or may not match your home buying criteria, if I can sit down for about 20 minutes, I have a list that I go over, and I can get you exactly.
Well, why don't I just? I know exactly what I'm looking for. So why don't I have your email address here? I'll just email you a very specific list of what's important to us, so you can just go off of that list.
Well, rather than missing out on the perfect one, because there's certain things that we may not know.
Yeah, let's stop there for a minute. By meeting with me, Could you do a better job for me?
Absolutely.
So let's not be afraid to say that.
Okay.
What if you said, well, you know what, Craig? I want to do a good job for you. You know, rather than you emailing me a list or telling me what you're looking for or something getting lost in the translation, I think you would agree. Buying a house is a pretty big deal. If we could spend about 15 minutes having a discussion about what's really important to you, that way I could make sure that I'm sending you only the homes that perfectly match your criteria, and most importantly, we won't miss out on anything. When do you think would be a good time for us to get together for 15 minutes? Days or evenings?
Yes.
Okay, now, no one would argue that that's a reasonable request. And we know that people take time off work to go get their teeth cleaned. Right? People do that. On a regular basis every day, people take time off work to do things that are way less important than buying a home. We all know that buying a home is probably the biggest thing this guy's ever going to do financially in his life, or it's right up there. Like it's top 10 for sure. And if he's saying he doesn't have 15 minutes to meet with you, we know it's a lie.
Right.
Right? So there's one of two things. He's like, doesn't see the value in meeting with you, or he's fearful of meeting with you. He's afraid to meet with you because he sees you as a salesperson. He believes that you're going to make him do something he doesn't want to do, or it's going to cost him money. Those are the only reasons why he wouldn't want to meet with you. But if he really believed that meeting with you was super beneficial and there was no downside because it's free and he's not really obligated to do anything, which he's not, right? He's not obligated to sign a buyer agency agreement with you when he meets with you, nor are you obligated to spend one more second with him if he doesn't sign the buyer agency agreement with you when you do meet with him.
Right.
Now, even saying this perfectly, I don't want anyone to think for a minute that Craig Proctor converted 100% of them. I didn't. There were some people that, even though I would listen to a recording of what I said, because I'd record all the calls, I'd listen to myself, and I'd think, you know what, I don't think I'd change anything I said. I'm going to recommend that you guys do this, right, that you do record your calls. Now, we do have a new service that you guys can enroll in. I don't know if you guys know this, where you can record your calls, and the calls will be sent immediately after it's done to your smartphone, and you can listen to yourself. And if you have inside sales agents, you can listen to them making the calls, because if you have someone else making the calls for you, you're assuming they're doing it right. But when you listen to them, you know, now you've got evidence that they're not, and you can, it's constructive because now you can correct them. So I just wanted to let everyone off the hook there a little bit, just to know that, Greg, you could do everything perfectly, and you're not going to convert them all.
Right.
But it's our job to do it as correct as possible so we can increase that conversion rate. But I think you've done a pretty good job. Like, I threw a lot of curveballs at you, but I don't think...
My first phone call, I was expecting a little easier, but I'm glad you gave it to me.
Yeah, but I don't think I don't think I threw anything at you that you probably haven't heard from a seller prospect before.
Absolutely.
Right, so it was real. I tried to make it real. And I don't want to become too much of a jerk on the phone, because what I teach you guys is, if you're dealing with somebody that's just too rude for your liking, they're just too much of a jerk, well, that's why we want to generate lots of leads, is so you don't have to deal with someone like that. I call that the luxury of choice. So when you're on the phone with someone that's just unreasonable, they just, they're rude, or they're not respectful at all, you all have my permission to say next and move on to the next one. When you folks all met me at the very first Super Conference, you probably remember me saying this, that my wish for all of you is that you can generate slightly more leads than you need.
Want to get your camera off my desk?
And some of you might have think, well, why do I need slightly more leads than I need? So you can get rid of people that are not a good fit. Far too many of us spend too much time with people that we should blow off from the beginning. So I tried not to be that guy. I tried not to be somebody that was over the top. Like, I wouldn't, what you're thinking when you're talking to a prospect is, do I even want to work with this person? Right. Is this someone that would even be a good fit? So I tried not to be over the top, but I also wanted to make the point that somebody can be less than friendly, not rude, but less than friendly, and maybe a little bit abrupt, and they still become a very good client.
Absolutely.
And as James mentioned, that's something he had to learn when he came to work with me 20 years ago. James equated friendliness with good. And if somebody was gruff or they weren't super friendly, he equated that to, well, they're not a good prospect. Because a good prospect would be friendly, because that's James's personality. He's a high I, right? So that's how James would respond. If he was interested, he would be friendly, and if he wasn't interested in an offer, he probably wouldn't be. But we got to understand not everybody's like us. You did a very good job here, Greg. Thanks for hanging in with me there. But I think we made some good points on that role play.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go back and we'll see who our next volunteer is, and we'll let James do this one.
Okay, we have Janet McCarthy. Your line is open. Janet? Okay.
No luck with Janet.
No luck with Janet. We'll go to Sandy Casella. Your mic is now open.
Hi, Sandy. I met with Sandy yesterday.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, how you doing, Sandy? James, are you still with us?
It was very good yesterday, yeah.
Okay, I met with Sandy and some of our Toronto area agents in Newmarket yesterday, actually at the KW office. We had a little mastermind meeting, which was kind of cool. And they got me a pretty cool gift. They got me a Craig Proctor coaching shirt, and they all signed it. And they actually, okay, you ready for this, James? They got me a Craig Proctor bobblehead.
Ha! Fantastic.
How cool is that? Okay, so what kind of prospect would you like James to be, Sandy?
I'm still working on these sign calls, so I want to do a sign call again if I could.
Okay, so let me fill everyone in on what we did yesterday. So we talked about a lot in our meeting yesterday in Newmarket, and one of the things we talked about is how the calls are being handled. Actually, Sandy, while I have you, there's a couple good things that we talked about. One of the things we talked about before we get into that is we talked about Sandy's postcards, and a lot of the people in the meeting, in the mastermind session, were saying the postcards were really working well, and Sandy says, well, like, it's not really working well for me, this postcard, and I ordered them from BXL, like, Craig, they look exactly like yours, and I said, well, that's really weird, that's unusual. What about the landing page? Let's look at the landing page. And Sandy, when you looked at the landing page, what did you discover?
It wasn't mobile friendly, so my site hadn't been changed over yet.
Correct. So everyone knows what we're talking about, right? With Sandy's landing page, when you looked at it on a phone, which at least half the people are doing now, it was just like the normal big desktop version shrunken down on an iPhone or an Android, and you can't read the thing. I'm very confident, by the way, when you make that change and we pull up maybe a little bit of the copy, because we want it to be Success website can make it responsive so it fits any device, but also we want to be mindful that there's not a lot of copy between the headline and the actual response form, so people don't have to use their thumb and scroll and scroll and scroll. So I'm going to work with you, Sandy, and we're going to fix that landing page.
I'm actually, you know what, I'm actually going to put, I actually was going to put those, because I didn't have one of my postcards with me yesterday. I didn't realize I did have one in the car. I'm going to put it on for the ad clinic tomorrow just so you can take a look at it and see,
okay, cool.
Make sure it is okay, but I'm going to make some other changes as well.
Yeah, and what surprised me with this conversation is, like, I know those postcards really work well, and we had so many other people saying, yeah, I use it, like Tony, his looked perfect, and he was having great results.
Yeah, Pawan, yeah.
Right, so when everyone's doing it and it's working, and then we came to you and you're saying, well, like, I'm using your exact postcard and it's not, my brain starts to think, okay, what could be going wrong? So the lesson for everybody here is we should all be looking at our marketing as if we're the prospect.
Yeah, and I did check, I checked, I went on and checked my control panel yesterday, so during the month of July, 30 people had visited the site or had gone to that site, but I only had one request. So obviously
that's when we knew what the problem was, right? So, does everyone hear that? Sandy looked at the control panel and she had 30 visitors to her landing page, to the online home evaluation landing page that she was driving people to from the postcard, which tells us, hey, the postcard's doing its job. Got like over 30 people to go to that domain name, but I think only one of the 30 actually submitted their information. So the landing page was clearly the problem, and then we looked at it and we found, okay, well, there's the problem. Okay, now the other thing we did in our meeting yesterday is we talked about ad calls and sign calls and who handles the calls. And James, it kind of went like this. Some of the members said, well, all the calls come to me. And when I'm not in the office, like somebody's handling it, it could be the front desk, or they have a designated person who handles the calls. And I think Heidi's person was really good, right? Heidi's person wasn't giving me any information at all. But when I called Tony's office, the person that answered the phone there gave me all the information and never ever asked for who I was or my contact information at all. And, so I was able to determine the price, the square footage, the age, the style, everything about the property. And then I ended it by saying, okay, well, it's too much money. And then the person taking that call, here's their mindset. Their mindset is, we're only trying to sell this listing. But it's wrong. We all know that's wrong. Like, each listing we have should be a huge profit center. Get the buyer's contact information and sell them something. And we've also agreed as a group that 99% of the time the people that call us off our ads or off our signs eliminate the property anyway. That's called normal, right? It's weird if they call off one of your signs or one of your ads and go, oh my God, this is the house of my dreams. That happens like less than 10% of the time. 90% of the time, they disqualify the property. They eliminate it. They tell us it's too big, too small, or whatever. So if the person fielding your calls is just giving out all the information to the buyers, believe me, at least 90% of the time, the buyer is going to find a reason why to eliminate the property. And unfortunately, when they eliminate the property, they also eliminate you. So you've got to get that contact information before the buyer can eliminate the property.
Which is why using a hotline is a good idea if you're carrying lots of listings.
Well, I use the hotline, but they could also call directly off of the sign. Anyway, that's some of the stuff we covered in that meeting. It was a pretty good meeting yesterday, I thought. So anyway.
It was very good. Thank you.
Okay, so what do you want to do here with James?
I'd like to do a sign call.
Okay, sign call.
All right.
James,
so,
you're calling Sandy off of one of her listings.
All right, so ring.
Hi, this is Sandy.
Oh, hey, Sandy. Hey, I have some questions about your property at 123 Maple Street. Just wondering what the price is and if that's a 4 or 5 bedroom.
Oh, okay, let me just pull that listing up. Who am I speaking to?
It's James.
Oh, hi, James. Are you calling for yourself or are you calling for someone else?
No, I'm calling for myself. Just curious.
Okay. Okay, I just need to pull that up, so just give me a couple of seconds. Are you planning to move in the next 3 to 6 months?
Yeah, we are moving. Yeah, we are.
Okay.
We've already bought. We're just waiting for it to be finished.
Oh, okay. And when is your closing date scheduled to be?
Well, it's supposed to be in mid to late October, but it could be a little later than that. So we're not sure. You know how these things go.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you now, if you're calling on this property, if you've already bought, then are you just trying to get an idea of what prices are in your neighborhood there?
Yeah. We live down the street, so I noticed your listing. Your property came listed on the market in the past couple of days, so I've been meaning to call and find out about it.
Oh, okay. And is your property similar to this one?
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
Well, ours is a 4-bedroom, and I was wondering some of them I know are 5, so I was just curious about that.
Yeah, this one's a 4-bedroom as well. Do you have a realtor that's going to help you with the sale of your house when that time comes?
We've got a couple of realtors in mind, but no one in particular.
Okay, James, are you when are you planning to put your house for sale with the closing date that you're looking at for the property you bought?
Well, it looks like sometime in the month of August would probably be safe. Obviously, we don't want to be too early, but we don't want to be too late certainly. So we're just a little frustrated with the builder because of the timing and everything like that. So we honestly, I don't know for sure, but I mean, obviously, if you sort of count backwards, it's going to have to be sometime in the next month or so.
Okay. Would you like to get a free market evaluation to determine exactly what your house would sell for? And at the same time, I could give you some tips on what to do and, more importantly, what not to do to get the most amount of money when you do put your house for sale. We could also at the same time go over a net sheet that would explain all your expenses, so you'll know exactly how much you'll have left in your pocket after all your expenses are paid. It's a free service. It doesn't obligate you to anything. Do you think that would be helpful?
Yeah, it would. What is this one? This one at 123. What do you have this priced at?
This one is priced at $649.9.
$649. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, do you think it's going to sell for that, or I mean, how's it looking?
Well, it's hard to say, and I guess, James, as you know, there's a big difference in properties even on the same street. So in order to give you a good idea of what your house would sell for and a more accurate assessment of what your house would sell for, because this could be, a totally different house in terms of finishes and stuff like that than what yours is. So if you, if you like, I can give you a more accurate assessment of what your house would sell for, and that would probably be a little bit more helpful for you. Do you agree?
Yeah, no, it would.
Okay, so when would you, over the next couple of days, do you have 15 or 20 minutes I can come over and take a look, and we can go over the net sheet, and we can also go over some helpful tips, like I said, on what to do and what not to do to get the most amount of money when you do put your house for sale.
Yeah,
What's
we can do that.
best for you normally? Okay.
We can do
Are you
that.
available days or evenings?
Evenings are fine, or on the weekend is okay as well.
Okay, are you available this evening, or does tomorrow evening work better for you?
No, this evening, I guess this evening works. I should probably check with my wife first, but that'll probably be fine anytime after 6:30.
Okay, so it's 7 o'clock. Does 7 o'clock work for you? And you can check with your wife if that's an issue. Just give me a call back, and we'll check the time.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
All right, good.
Thank you.
Okay, so I kind of.
I need your address, but.
Yeah, I kind of threw you a little curveball there in that obviously I was a prospective seller on the street, and I guess the debate is, do you book the appointment based on my timing? And erring on the side of caution is probably a really good idea. What you want to figure out at the appointment is how likely is it that I'm going to list, because if you give me the listing presentation prematurely, then the question is, if I'm not ready to list right now, am I going to revisit you in a month's time, right? So that's sort of that. I guess that's what you're sort of juggling. But I mean, based on that conversation, I totally agreed to book the appointment. I thought that was a really good idea. Now, one thing that I was really listening out for was an emphasis on cost and obligation for the appointment, and I didn't really hear it. And I think. Yeah,
I seem to be having a problem with that. I need to really make sure I emphasize that.
That's why, we started the call off this morning by talking about that conflict, right? Does the prospect want your appointment? Do they want you to come and look at their home and tell you what they can do to make it worth more money? Do they want to know what they're going to have left in their pocket? Do they want an accurate evaluation? The answer is yes to all those things. But do they want to meet with a salesperson? Well, that's the scary part. So we have to make sure that the benefit is more powerful than the fear, right, than the downside. And part of that is by removing the threat of cost and obligation. So if we don't remove the threat of cost and obligation, then the fear of the salesperson might win out, and I might decline your offer. So the thing is, I thought you did a really good job of stating the offer. Here's what I really liked. There was a part in the script or in the offer where you said, would that be better? You stated your case, your offer, and then you said, well, would that be better? If you were to know, I know what I said. What's this property listed at? You said $649.9 or something like that. I said, that's pretty good. And you said, but if I can see your home, there's a lot of difference between what properties look like, finishes, etc., that will really affect the value of the property. If I can take a look at your home, I can be much more accurate. Would that be better? It's a great way to state the question, because the answer is, yeah, it would be better. So I really like that. I thought that was pretty effective. So anyway, I can tell you've practiced with Craig. So good job. That was really good.
Thank you.
Okay, our next guest is Stephen Chen. Your line is now open.
Hi, Stephen.
Hi, good morning.
How are you doing today, Stephen?
I'm doing good, thank you. How are you?
Can't be better. Now, what would you like to do here?
I would like to respond to an editorial ad that I ran for the best reason not to to sell the home yourself.
Okay, so the For Sale by Owner campaign.
Yes.
All right, so I'll do this one, James. You can take a break, take a sip of your coffee. Okay, so ring, ring. Hello?
Is Craig there?
Yes. Who's this?
Hi, Craig. This is Stephen Chen with Keller Williams Realty, and the reason I'm calling is because I've received your request for the For Sale by Owner information you wanted, and I have prepared that and popped that in the mail to you. Is that okay?
Yeah, I didn't know this was coming from a real estate agent. Why would a real estate agent send me information on how to sell my house myself?
Well, this is a free information that I would like to help the homeowner that they thinking wanted to sell their home. So it's a free service for the information.
Well, why would you want to help me sell my house without an agent?
You got me there, Craig.
Okay. So you might want to say something. I'm just being real because sometimes I'll say that to you, right? So what you might want to say is...
and if they don't say it, they certainly could be thinking it.
Right. So here's how I would handle this. Okay, so James, you be the prospect. So James says, what do you say, James?
I say, hey, Craig, here's the deal. I'm not sure what's in this for you. I'm considering selling my home myself. So, what's in it for you?
Well, James, whether you're going to sell your home yourself or you're going to list with an agent, it's best to have the right information so you can make a good decision. And when you know what's involved and the responsibility involved, you may choose to have somebody represent you. And I'd like an opportunity, of course, at that point, should you decide if you're going to choose an agent either before trying it for sale by owner or after trying it for sale by owner, I would like an opportunity to meet with you and discuss that. But what we're sending you is really all the things that you need to think about before you decide whether to go for sale by owner or not.
I see. Yeah, and you could probably reel that in and make that a little more succinct, but that's the idea.
Yeah, I was distracted a little bit there. My wife came into my office and started talking to me, so that wasn't as succinct as I wanted it to be, but that's the idea. So sometimes they're going to say that to you, Stephen. They're going to say, well, like, why are you sending this? And that's how you're going to respond. You're going to say, well, I want to give you all the information so you can make a good decision.
Right.
And
should you decide that you're going to list your home with a realtor, should you decide that at some point,
right,
all I would ask for is the opportunity of applying for the job.
There's no commitment to meeting with me, but maybe you'll think favorably of me because I was kind enough to send you helpful information. Now, the real reason, of course, off the record, the reason we're sending this information, the free report actually tells them everything that they need to do to sell it by themselves, all the work they need to do, the money they need to spend, the responsibility they're going to have. So the report does a pretty good job of giving them pause. I don't want to say scaring them off the idea, although that's what we really want to do, is we want to give them all the information they need so now they think twice about this. Well, maybe this is harder than I thought it was going to be. Maybe there's more to this than what I initially thought. That's why we're actually doing this. And we also understand that many sellers that are attracted to this fantasy of saving the commission, right, are not attracted to doing the work. So it's a fantasy. And when it comes right down to it, many that were thinking of doing this, when the rubber hits the road, they actually just list with an agent. And you've got a much better chance of getting their business before they stick a for sale by owner sign on the front lawn, because as soon as they do that, now you're in competition with all the agents in your marketplace. The best time to get to them is before they've done that, if they actually get to that point. Anyway, back to the script. So I say, okay, well, thanks for sending me the information. I think the phone call is done now. Okay, thanks, Stephen.
Okay, Craig, I just have a question. Did you know that 87% of the for sale by owner end up listing their home with a real estate agent?
Okay, that's not in the script. Like, are you saying off the record? Yeah, I know that. That's why we're doing this. We're running a campaign that causes people that are fantasizing. Okay, you're saying 87% of the people that that think about FSBO or try FSBO give up, right?
Right.
Right. So that's why we're doing it. If it was the opposite, if 90% of the people that thought about FSBO actually were able to successfully sell their home, this would be a pretty crappy campaign, because that means 90% of the people that you talk to wouldn't need you. So those numbers are stacked in our favor, which again is why this is a good idea. Okay, but stick to the script here. So let's start over. I've said hello. You've said the reason you're calling is you've received my request for the for sale by owner information. You've sent it out to me. I said, why would you send that? You're an agent, and you told me why, and I'm satisfied with your answer. And I go, okay, well, that's good. So thank you for sending the information out. Now what happens?
Oh, you're welcome, Craig. Just wanted to understand, you folks planning to make a move in the next 3 to 6 months?
Yes, we want to do something before the summer's over.
Okay, great. And if you were to move, would you be staying in the same area, or are you thinking moving out of the area?
We're going to move out of the area.
Okay, and when do you think that might be?
Well, I've got some things going on with work, and I'm being transferred.
Okay, great. What I would like to offer you is a free market evaluation to determine what your home would sell for, and also I can give you tips on what to do, and more importantly, on things that not to do to sell your home, to help you net the most amount of money. And what we can also show you is all the various closing costs that will incur, so you know exactly what you have left in your pocket after all expenses.
Okay. Well, I don't want any of that to happen yet until I find a place where we're moving.
Okay.
That's my main interest right now. Is I want to find something before I get serious about putting my home up for sale.
I see. Would you like me to email you daily updates of all the home that matches your home buying criteria?
Well, I'm going to be moving across the country.
Okay.
I'm being transferred. Remember?
What part of the country are you?
Okay, so I tell you, I'm going to such and such an area.
Okay. Would you like me to have a realtor in that area to contact you and give you all the home buy, matches all your home?
Yeah, that would be great, because we don't know anybody in that area.
Okay, excellent. I will put you in touch with an agent that knows the market area, and to help you to search the home that you're looking for in that area.
Okay.
And I do understand that you wanted to sell the home by yourself.
Yeah, we want to fly out to such and such an area and take a look around at some of the houses and just make sure that we're going to be able to afford something that we like there. And then the next step, once we do that and we're sure, then we're going to we'll fly back home and get our house on the market.
Okay, so I understand. So you probably don't need to sell your home to buy your home, right?
No, I'll need to sell it, but I don't want to sell the house, and then we fly over to such and such a state, and we look around, and we just don't like the area, like we've never been there before, or we can't afford what we're looking for, because I can turn down the transfer, but I don't want to, because it's a really good opportunity. And in my company, if I turn down an opportunity like that, I might not get another one. So they reward you for moving. So, but I don't want to list my home, before I've actually visited at least once the place that we're going to be living in. Makes sense, right?
Yes, that makes sense. I understand that transfer is important to you, Craig, and for you and your family. What I would like to do is to offer you this free market evaluation, which is very important for you to get evaluate how long does it take for the home to sell. And I understand the transfer, you wanted to meet your timeline. I think you told me that you wanted to move within 3 to 6 months. So to get you prepared and help you to understand all your timeline, that way you have an option to know what you wanted to do next. So I think it's probably going to be very beneficial to you, and I hope that I can help to provide that service to you.
Okay, so you think fair? I should meet with you before I go to the city I'm being transferred to and look around to be sure that I want to move? I should meet with you first?
Yes, sir. I'd like to have the opportunity to kind of show you what things that needs to be done before you go look for the place and where you're going to transfer. Yeah.
Okay, so come on over.
Okay. Would tonight at 6 o'clock be good for you?
Sure.
Okay, I'll see you at 6 o'clock.
Okay. Now, the only downside with that is if I go to this city I'm being transferred to and I decide that I don't like the area, it's not for me, then I won't be selling my house, and in fact you would have wasted your time. But you may be prepared to take that risk.
Yes, sir.
Okay, anything you want to add to that, James?
No, I mean, I just think that if you're going to run this ad, you definitely have to be a little better rehearsed in how these conversations could go. I mean, you got to keep sight of the idea that the object of this call is to determine the timing and motivation of the prospect. That's all you're trying to do. You're not trying to talk them into, using a realtor or.
Right. Well, Stephen. That's what you tried to do, right? You were getting into trying to talk me out of even attempting for sale by owner. That's not the purpose of the call. The purpose of the universal callback script is to determine the motivation and timing of the prospect. Because if I'm not motivated, or my timing is 2 years off into the future, you don't care about talking me out of for sale by owner, because I'm not motivated to do something now. Mm-hmm. So just keep in mind what it is that we're trying to accomplish with the universal callback script. Okay, we're not trying to talk them out of doing something that we haven't even determined whether they're going to do it yet. There's a time and place for that, but it wasn't on the first phone call. The time and place for that, by the way, is when you're sitting at the kitchen table.
Okay.
All right, Stephen, good stuff. Let's take our next volunteer.
Okay, our next volunteer is going to be Leslie Lund. Your mic is open. You're muted on your end. Go ahead and unmute. Okay, we'll go on to Karen Aguilar. Your line is open.
Hi, Craig.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. What type of prospect would you like James McDonald to be?
I want to be the prospect.
Oh, you want to be the prospect?
Yeah, I want to be the prospect. And I'm responding to a home evaluation.
All right. James, you up for this?
I am.
Okay.
I am. Okay.
Thanks.
Now, what was your, I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Karen.
Karen, and Karen is the prospect this time, and you're the realtor. Okay. And Karen has requested an evaluation.
Hello, is Karen there, please? Ring. Hello, is Karen there, please? Oh, hey, Karen. Hi, Karen. It's James McDonald with Craig Proctor's office at Remax Omega Realty calling. And the reason I'm calling, Karen, is I got your request for the area home sales report on our website last night, and I just wanted to give you a quick courtesy call and let you know we did prepare and send that information out to you. I hope that's okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Hey, Karen, are you thinking about making a move in the next 3 to 6 months?
No.
No. If you were to make a move, would you be staying locally in the area, or would you be moving out of the area?
Oh, no. I don't think we're moving. I don't think we're.
No.
Yeah, no.
Okay. So if you were to move, any idea when that might be if you were to?
No, not at all. I don't think, we really like the neighborhood where we're at, so I don't think we're thinking about moving. I was just curious to find out, what the home values are in the area. That was it.
Okay, well, the information's on its way. Enjoy. If you have any questions, my contact information is there. Have a great day, Karen.
Hey, thank you.
Great. There you go.
Okay.
Okay, John Perry, we've got a few questions here.
Here's the thing, though, Karen, just to make sure, the only thing that we're doing there is the first time you said no, that's okay, but I'm not going to just lay down. I'm going to ask you a couple. I'm not going to, they're not intrusive questions, but I'm just going to be absolutely satisfied myself that you're definitely not moving, right? So Are you thinking about moving next 3 to 6 months? You said no. I said, well, hey, if you were to make a move, would you be staying here locally or moving out of here? You said, no, we're not moving. And I said, if you were to move, any idea when that might be? You said, we're not planning. I was just curious. I asked you 3 times, and 3 times you said, no. You know what I believe? You're not moving. So that's good. Now, there's a big difference, though, if I say you're thinking about moving in the next 3 to 6 months, and you say, no, not really. And then I say, oh, okay, well, bye. Don't do that. Make sure that because when you walk into the shoe store and I'm the salesperson and I say, hi, Sandy, can I help you? You know what you say? No, thanks. Just looking. But you're not just looking. You are going to be buying shoes, right? So this is kind of the same thing. But if I ask you the question 3 times and all 3 times you say, no, I'm just curious, I can be pretty satisfied that clearly you're not interested. And that's fine.
Okay.
Remember, we're not trying to create motivation where motivation doesn't exist. We're trying to discover motivation where motivation does exist. That's all.
Okay. And now, would you consider that a dead lead? Keep him on your CRM? Would you even follow up with him?
No, but you keep them on there. Don't delete them. Put notes in there. They requested, they responded to your postcard. You followed up with them, and 3 times they told you no. They were just curious of the value of their home. So that if 2 months from now they request the information again, you can go back and you can look and say, hey, there's a pattern here. They're more motivated than they're letting on. So listen, your contact management system will hold an unlimited number of prospects. There's never a reason to delete anyone. That doesn't mean that you follow up with them and you call them every week. They're a non-prospect, but don't delete them from the database. There's no reason to do that. Okay, sorry, Craig. You had some chat questions.
Yes. Okay, so James, I'm going to read some of the chat questions. The first one is from Alicia. And Alicia says, hi, James. I just started to call my bold leads, and what I find when I'm calling back the bold leads is the minute they find out that I'm a real estate company, they get a little aggressive, and they tell me they're just curious, and can you give me some advice on how to diffuse this and turn it around and try to close for the appointment? Well,
I'd say it's always the introduction. How you introduce yourself is going to disarm them and actually elicit a reaction of appreciation. But if your introduction does not accomplish that, then what is happening to you is going to continue.
Can you give us an example, James, of a poor introduction? Let's pretend I'm the bold leads prospect. Give everyone an example of a bad introduction.
Hey, Craig. It's James McDonald calling with Remax Omega Realty. I saw that you were on my website, or you requested information from me. Did you get it?
Yeah, but I didn't know this was coming from an agent.
Or, hey, Craig, it's James with Remax Omega Realty calling. How you doing today?
I'm kind of busy right now.
I mean, Okay, so here's the difference. Hey, hi, Craig. It's James McDonald calling with Craig Proctor's office at Remax Omega Realty. Craig, the reason I'm calling you is because I got your request for the area home sales report on my website, and I just wanted to give you a very quick courtesy call here and let you know I did prepare and email that information to you. I hope that's okay, Craig.
Like, it's hard to be rude to that.
Right.
Right? Because you're emphasizing the fact that I did this for you on your request, on your volition. You're reminding the prospect on your volition, you asked me to do this. And I'm following up on your request to let you know I've sent you the area home sales report that you requested, and I'm following up. It seems like a customer service call.
Or, and if you haven't sent it, you would just say, Craig, I just want to give you a quick courtesy call, let you know I am preparing that information for you now. I want to do a really good job, and you should receive it shortly. I hope that's okay, Craig.
Okay, next question's from Michael. If you book an appointment and the lead cancels last minute, what's the best approach to reschedule it? What should we say to them? Well, I would just call them up and say, hey, Michael, Craig Proctor here with Remax. Look, perhaps you forgot or something came up. We had an appointment at 11 a.m. This morning, and I just wanted to follow up to see if we could set a time to reschedule that appointment. That would be my message if I was going to leave a message, or that would be exactly what I would say to them if they answered the phone. Now, sometimes they just do forget. You should always be trying to book your appointments with buyers and sellers as close to now as possible. Time is not our friend, right? Time is not our friend. The more time that elapses between your conversation right now and your appointment, your meeting with them, a lot of bad stuff can happen. Number one, they could just plain forget. Yes, people actually forget things they want to do. I like to give the example of last summer. I bought some baseball tickets, spent a couple $100. This is an event I wanted to go to, and I set the tickets on the shelf over the telephone in the kitchen, right, visible, and I forget about it. So and we've all done that, right? We've all forgot to go to an event that we actually wanted to go to. So if we can forget to do something we want to go to, it'd be very easy to forget something that's less exciting than that, something that you're perhaps not really wanting to go to. And then other bad things can happen. They talk to somebody. How about that? They set an appointment with you today. The appointment's not for 4 or 5 days or a week down the road, and they talk to somebody. They talk to a family member. They talk to a friend that says, oh, I have an agent in the business. I know somebody. Or another real estate agent happens to cold call them between now and your appointment a week from now. So call them back. Now, if they don't return your phone calls after you've left them several messages, or when you call them, they seem really cool, then something's changed. And you may not be able to recover from that. Okay, here's our next question. This is from Fana. James, the question is, if I receive a lead from Trulia or Zillow, for example, for a specific property, how do I go back calling those back? Do I still use the script?
Absolutely. It's exactly the same as a sign call. Only you're calling the prospect back. See, here's the key. You're going to call them back and give them information about that property, but you're also going to swap information with them. By the way, you're thinking about moving in the next 3 to 6 months. I mean, here's the deal. Are they going to buy the property that they were interested in? In your experience, are they going to buy that property? And the answer is it would be very rare that the prospect buys the property they call on. But it isn't rare that the prospect is going to buy something. So is it reasonable that if you were to determine that they are going to buy something, that you'd be able to say to them, hey, look, I can email you every day all of the properties as they come on the market before you'll see them on Trulia. So you'll know about these great deals before the other buyers do. It's absolutely free. There's no obligation. They'll be sitting right in your email inbox as they come on the market, especially the hard-to-find deals. Would that be of interest to you? Prospect says, yeah, that'd be great. Good. When have you got 15, 20 minutes so we can sit down and take down your criteria in detail? It's absolutely free. There's no obligation, and I'm flexible. What's good for you, days, evenings, weekends? Remember, here's the benefit. Someone who is on Trulia is looking on Trulia to try to find a property. And using Trulia to try to find your property is a bad way of doing it. All the properties aren't on Trulia. Not only that, but there's a delay from when the properties are available to when they show up on Trulia. There's a million reasons why you are better than looking on Trulia.
Okay, so here's what some of our members seem to be hung up on. They believe that the source of the lead makes the process different, and it doesn't. That's why we call this a universal callback script.
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't matter whether they're responding from a print ad or it's online. It doesn't matter whether it's Zillow or Trulia or Bold Leads or Facebook. It doesn't matter whether they're calling off your for sale sign. It doesn't matter whether they're calling off an ad in the good old local newspaper. It doesn't matter. What we have to agree on is there should be a best way, right? There should be a process that we can take all these prospects through that are inquiring for different reasons. There's a mindset, a process, a series of steps that we want to take them through that is the best way to do it. And that best way is called the universal callback script. So it's, it's strange that we have members that are regulars on our Thursday role play calls, and they're pretty good at this script, but they'll ask questions like, okay, I can see how that would work for this and this and this, but what about if it's Bold Leads? What if it's Zillow? Same thing. Doesn't matter what the medium is, the process is the same. Think about this. Let me try to think of another example. The listing presentation. What I preach to you guys is there is a best way to do this, right? There's a best way. What I experimented with for over 10 years was putting the right things in the right order to get the right result, right? That's what I experimented with, and that's what I give you on a silver platter. But you never hear me saying, well, you know what? If it's a woman, I do the presentation a little bit differently than if it's a man. Or if they're elderly, I do it a little different than if they're first-time home sellers, right? Or if you're on the East Coast, you're going to do it different than on the West Coast, right? So it's the same process, and that's what we're trying to teach you folks is established processes. That's what you want. That's what a business is. A business is a series of established processes, commonly referred to as systems, that work over and over and over again. And eventually, you become so good at these processes that you can teach them to other people that work for you. That's called having a business. And I would think that all of you are attracted to that idea. The benefit of having a business is you will make more money and you will work less, and eventually you'll make a lot of money and perhaps not have to work in your business at all. That's the goal. And you can only do that by mastering established processes and systems. Okay, let's go on to a couple more of our questions here. Here's a good comment by John Perry. John's concerned about this. He says, are there any potential legal issues with recording a call without informing the other person? And the answer is yes and no. It depends on the state that you're in. In many states, as long as one person knows the call is being recorded, it's perfectly fine. In other states, both parties have to be aware that the call is being recorded. So you want to check that out. Now, you could even, if you're in a state where both parties need to know it's recorded, I wonder how this would work, James, if when you're calling prospects back, if I guess this probably wouldn't work, but I was just thinking out loud, when you call some places, they say all calls are being recorded for quality purposes. I do not have to think about that. But John, check your state rules on recording calls, because I can't possibly know all of the rules for all the different states and all the provinces in Canada. I know in my marketplace, I can do it. I guess the second question is if you recorded them, how would they even know anyway? But anyway, we won't go down that road. Kathy's asking this. Which postcard were the Keller Williams agents using, and how many, this is the meeting I had yesterday at the KW office. Now, not all the agents at the KW office at the meeting were from KW, but they were using the online home evaluation postcard. with the area home sales report on one side and the online home evaluation on the other. And I think there it is on the screen. Andrea's on top of that. So can you make it bigger? Okay. There's the area home sales report. So it was that postcard, and they were sending out, I believe, it varied. I think a safe number, a minimum number, 5,000. Most of them 5,000 to 10,000 postcards were being mailed out at a time. Okay, Vic is asking, should we tell the prospect on the initial contact we're recording them? I don't know. I've never done that, Vic, because, like I said, it's illegal in my marketplace. That might be a bit goofy. I don't know. What's your opinion on that, James? If you were to call a prospect, if I was to call you and say, hey, James, it's Craig Proctor here from Remax. Now, before you say anything, I just want to let you know I'm recording this call. And by the way, the reason I'm calling is that okay?
No way.
Right. It's weird, right?
Oh, I just hang up. No, I mean, yeah, that's pushing it.
Okay, so anyway, you guys will have to make your own decision. I'm going to ask this question again. This is not legal advice, but how would they know if you're recording it? I'm not saying record it. I'm just saying how would they know? Now, if you're in an area, a province or state where only one person needs to know it's being recorded, well, you are that one person, and you've got no problem there.
In other words, the laws are about phone tapping. You can't record people's conversations without them aware of it, but if one is aware, that's different.
I don't know. I don't. You know what? You and I shouldn't even get into. We shouldn't get into what the.
I cannot believe that you would, if you're using it for your own purposes and you're going to listen to it and then delete it, no one would ever know. It's not like you're going to be prosecuted. It's the whole concept is ridiculous. You're recording it for your own purposes. As soon as you're finished, you delete it. Very simple.
Okay, well, of course, there's all kinds of laws that don't make any sense.
Well, I was on the freeway yesterday, and what I observed is there was not one single car going 65 miles an hour, and that's the speed limit. Every single car around me was going faster than the speed limit, thus breaking the law. And you know why it wasn't a big deal? Because it's not a big deal. There's some wiggle room there. So you record a call, and you listen to it for your own purposes, and you delete it. Or if you say, no, I would never do that, then don't. Then don't. Okay, then don't do it. But for the 99% of you that are listening going, yeah, of course, that's totally reasonable. If you do it, it will be very instructional. To go back and listen to how you sound on a real call is really instructional. And there's, it's like recording anything. You record they record your golf swing when you're taking lessons. It really helps to see what you're doing wrong, not just hear about it, but to see it. I like to use the example, if you think you're a good singer, record yourself. You'll know the truth. It'll be very apparent. So anyway, record yourself, listen to it for your own purposes, and then delete it, and it never existed. And you know what? You'll never get it. I mean, there's no problem with that.
Okay, so I'm going to say this in closing on that idea. Know what your rules are and make your own decision based on your understanding of those rules. We're not lawyers. All right, so we're going to wrap it up because we're out of time.
You play one on TV, Craig.
Pardon?
I said you do play one on TV.
Yeah, yes I do. Okay, I have my own bobblehead now, so don't mess with me.
That's right.
All right, tomorrow. Let's talk about tomorrow, James McDonald.
Yes. Mr. Todd Walters and yourself have a special marketing session tomorrow.
Are you going to be with us too?
I will.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to. Andrea, how many ads do we have submitted for tomorrow?
Right now, I only have a count of 4, but I haven't double-checked yet, and our members do have the deadline of tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern to submit ads.
Okay. So Todd, I think, has submitted a few from some of our Platinum members. We would like our members, of course, to submit their ads. It doesn't have to be an ad that's not working. Some of you think, well, I should only submit ads that are not working. And some of you think the opposite, that you should only submit ads that are working well. Doesn't matter how it's working. Our objective here is to make the ad work even better. Okay, so hopefully you can all join us tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. on the West Coast. And I want to thank James and Andrea for doing a great job on the role play and all our volunteers for doing an awesome job. Hopefully this was helpful, and that concludes our role play webinar for today. We'll see everybody tomorrow morning. Take care.